While Neptune was in Pisces, we spent years glamorizing ego death, not just in the usual New Age circles, but across all kinds of spiritual, mystic, even therapeutic spaces. Ego became the villain, the block to enlightenment, the lower self, the mask we were told to tear off in order to see clearly. We were taught that true growth meant dissolving it, that to want, to speak, to lead, to even desire significance was a sign we hadn't transcended enough. But here's the truth, and I say this as someone with Mars and Leo, someone who tried to kill the ego and instead nearly killed the self. Ego death is not always liberation. Sometimes it's abandonment, and what we need now is not erasure, but integration of the ego. Right now we're under a Mars and Leo sky, and the sun, the all-seeing eye, governs this terrain. So this is the kind of light that exposes you to yourself, and in that light, ego isn't the enemy. It's the lens through which your divine spark becomes action. It's the interface between spirit and form. It's what allows the soul to say, yes, I will try. See, sometimes the ego isn't inflated. Sometimes it's starved, shamed into submission, left underfed by false piety or twisted spiritual ideals. And let me tell you from personal experience that a starving ego doesn't make you holy. It makes you helpless. It opens the gates to your worst habits, your most self-erasing behaviors, because a part of you that knows how to stand up has been told to sit down and shut up in the name of enlightenment. And that's not helpful to you or others. See, that's not integration. That's disassociation. See, I was raised Christian. I was taught to think of the ego as the flesh, at least the people around me taught me that. The part of us prone to sin. The little devil on your shoulder whispering self-centered ideas that lead to pride, lust, vanity, or worse, a pretty common image, right? And in that frame, you're always trying to outrun the ego, always suspicious of your own joy, always skeptical of your own ambition. You start to think that wanting anything for yourself is proof of unworthiness, but that teaching is incomplete. The ego isn't inherently base. It's not the source of corruption. It's the field where the divine and the human interact. Or the nous, that higher divine intellect pours into the self and is received, filtered, and translated into real-world action. The ego is what allows us to act on noble ideas. It's how we conform to inspiration. And yes, it can receive the whispers of the flesh. It can get hijacked by craving, comparison, and vanity. But when it chooses the good, when it aligns its will with beauty, truth, and meaning, it's an act of spiritual worship, not metaphorically, but cosmologically. See, every ego choice, aligned with the good, becomes a reaffirmation of its primacy in the universe ideas. It places it once more at the top of the hierarchy. This transit is about making progress. It's about making a self you can trust, a self that hasn't been exiled or belittled in the name of asceticism. Let's be real, there's nothing noble about erasing yourself. There is, however, something sacred about showing up, flawed, steady, and willing to try, to write the line, to take the step, to speak when it's easier to stay silent, to lead not because you crave control, but because you see the gap and you can help fill it. See, Mars in Leo dares us to reclaim the stage because some gifts are meant to be seen. Some of your effort is meant to be felt. No one else can do it for you. But you can't show up fully without a self to show up as. Ego is the architecture of action. Without it, we hesitate. With it, we move. And let's say your ego has gotten inflated, distorted by false metrics or performative identity. That's okay. Mars and Leo might humble you, but it's not to crush you, it's to reset the throne, to remind you that pride without purpose is hollow. But purpose without pride, it won't survive the first challenge. So let's build an ego that can handle real life. One that doesn't collapse under criticism or disappear in conflict. One that can speak clearly and stand firmly, not as a mask, but as a vessel. A self you can trust to carry the good. Because the truth is, there's a world of difference between spiritual arrogance and spiritual responsibility. The latter says, I'm not perfect, but I'm present, I'm willing, I'll try. And that is enough to move mountains. See, my perspective is to step forward with a self that's not higher or lower, but whole. You're not here to dissolve. You're here to embody, to show up. So now is the time to speak clearly, to move with courage, to build a self you can trust to carry the weight of your calling.